Welcome to my channel. So recently we visited the home of a British entrepreneur who rebuilt a unique and very crashed Lamborghini Aventador SVJ and put it back on the road for less than $15,000. You'd be surprised at how far his money went and the incredible workmanship he achieved. Well, after we published that video, many of you were shocked at how much some of the repairs cost, including the crazy price for one particular repair. In today's video, I'm going to reveal what that was, how much it cost, and how he fixed it for less than a quarter of the original price. Stay tuned because this is one of the craziest videos we've ever uploaded. For those of you who haven't seen the original video, let me catch you up quickly. This is an incredibly rare Lamborghini. It's one of just 907 built worldwide and has a 770 brake horsepower V12 engine. These cars are currently selling for between $400,000 and $600,000 depending on the mileage and condition. So as you might imagine, any parts or labor required to repair one of these cars aren't cheap. When Matt first purchased the car, he knew it needed some work. There were quite a few problems from previous accident damage that needed solving, but nothing too serious. However, after further investigation, a couple of big issues became apparent. The first was the front headlight assembly. Now these are really expensive, and I think I paid about $6,000 for the pair. But luckily the previous owner had already sourced two good used ones. The second problem was more significant though. The near side rear corner was badly damaged, as you can see here. This included the rear quarter panel, rear bumper, and lower diffuser. Also, the bodywork wasn't the only thing that was damaged. In fact, the impact had also caused a crack in the monocoque chassis. Luckily, he'd managed to source a replacement chassis rail for pretty cheap. The final major repair was something that Matt didn't even realize at the time. However, when we started removing the bodywork to start the rebuild, we noticed there was a severe amount of play in the rear wheel. On closer inspection, we soon realized that the rear wheel bearing had completely seized. Not only that, but the stub axle and hub were also damaged beyond repair. To get the rear wheel bearing, I checked eBay and found one for about $800, which was a decent price, considering the alternative was probably over $3,000 from a main dealer. But then when we started removing the old hub and stub axle, we realized that the stub axle was bent and the hub itself had corroded. At this point, Matt had already spent $6,000 on the car and he'd barely made a dent in repairing it. It was at this point he began investigating the cost of replacing both of these parts. But before we go any further, let me explain why this is such a big deal. Unlike traditional cars, the Lamborghini Aventador uses a carbon fiber monocoque chassis with integrated rear wheel steering. Basically, the whole rear end of the car is one piece, as you can see here. This means that if you damage any part of this structure, you can't simply replace that part. Instead, you must replace the whole rear end assembly, which is absolutely insane. In fact, even the fuel tank is built into the rear end. So if you need a new fuel tank, you have to buy a new rear end assembly. Because of this, it makes servicing and repairing the rear end extremely expensive. After calling around a few Lamborghini specialists, the quotes were insane. Some wanted nearly $20,000 just to supply the part. Others wanted even more for the same part. As you can see, option one was out of the question because no one in their right mind would spend $30,000 on a part like this, especially as the car was already worth a lot of money, so that left him with options 2 or 3. But as always, Matt wanted to go down the more difficult route and explore every avenue possible before giving in. After countless hours spent online, he eventually found out that the shaft itself could be repaired. The rest of the rear end assembly was fine, and the only thing that needed replacing was the shaft, so it was worth asking around to see if anyone could refurbish it. After searching and sourcing some recommendations, he managed to find a specialist company that could do it. All he needed to do now was send them the shaft and wait. When it came back, it looked almost brand new, and it cost him just a fraction of what the dealer wanted. But that's not even the best part. The best part is that he saved over $25,000, which is absolutely insane. I mean, yeah, just think about that for a second. If he'd gone to the main dealer, he'd have paid $30,000 for a new rear end. But instead, thanks to his persistence and hard work, he managed to find a way around it. If you ever have a problem with your car, always try to speak to specialists and do your own research. Don't just give in and pay crazy prices. That's the only way to keep enjoying our cars whilst making sure we're getting the best deals possible. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, then please smash that like button. Every time you hit the like button, it motivates me to keep making more great content for you guys. And in the next part, we'll investigate why the dealers wanted so much money for this part. After all, it's not like they're running a charity, and this will give us a better insight into what's happening behind the scenes. So after speaking to a few Lamborghini dealers, they all basically said the same thing. The reason they wanted so much money for a simple rear wheel steering shaft was because Lamborghini doesn't sell it separately. The only way to get it is by purchasing the whole rear end assembly. As you can see here, this includes the entire rear subframe. It's absolutely insane. I mean, how many other companies do this? How many other companies sell a whole gearbox just because one sensor has gone bad? This is the biggest reason why cars are so expensive to repair and why most people prefer to drive a Toyota. Anyway, after hearing this, Matt was determined to find another solution. Surely there had to be someone out there that sold the parts separately. He searched online for hours, but couldn't find anyone until one day he stumbled across a guy who had previously owned one of these cars. After a bit of negotiation, Matt managed to purchase the shaft for just a fraction of the original price. All that was left to do now was refit it and hope for the best. Once it was all said and done, he took it for a test drive, and it was perfect. Everything was working as it should be, and there were no warning lights on the dash. Not only did he save a fortune, but he also gained a lot of respect from others. After all, how many people do you know that can repair a multi-million-pound supercar? If you've made it this far, then thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. And if you'd like to see more interesting videos, then make sure you stay tuned for more updates. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.